Hey there, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by your IELTS preparation, maybe you feel like you're just drowning in a sea of practice tests, endless YouTube tutorials, and scattered notes, I want you to take a deep breath. You are in the exact right place today. Studies actually show that over-preparation without a clear strategy is the absolute #1 reason high-level English speakers fail to hit their target band. But don't worry, as your mentor, we're going to fix this together. We're going to transition you from all that scattered anxiety into a perfectly structured IELTS masterclass by looking at the exact smart study plans that literally get results.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover why study plans fail, and then we'll diagnose your starting point. From there, we'll break down the 30-day intensive, 60-day balanced, and 90-day mastery plans. And finally, we'll wrap up with the absolute rules for IELTS success. Let's jump in. Okay, starting with Section 1, Why Study Plans Fail, or what I like to call the scattered approach to IELTS. It's a painful reality that a lot of students with genuinely great English still struggle to get their scores. And honestly, this quote hits the nail on the head. IELTS preparation should not feel like guesswork. It should feel like training for a performance. You really can't just rely on random practice and cross your fingers for exam day. A smart plan is a game changer. It gives you absolute direction, builds consistency, and most importantly, it measures your improvement.
Be honest with me for a second. Do any of these scattered habits sound a little too familiar? Are you spending hours passively watching videos but barely putting a pen to paper? Or you may be pushing writing and speaking to the very final week just because they're intimidating? A massive trap is failing to analyze your mock test mistakes. Just checking your score and moving on. Or maybe you're only practicing reading because, well, you're already good at it, or using a generic strategy that doesn't actually fit your English level. If you are doing any of this, I really need you to stop today. These are the exact scattered habits that lead straight to failure.
Moving right along to Section 2, Diagnose your starting point. Remember, don't guess, measure.
Before you even think about picking a study timeline, an honest self-audit is completely mandatory. Here is your exact diagnostic protocol. Step 1. Take a full listening and reading test to get your raw baseline scores. Step 2. Write out Task 1 and Task 2, but under strict timed conditions. Step 3. Just grab your phone and record yourself answering speaking parts 1, 2, and 3. And Step 4, honestly, this is the most crucial part. Make a brutally honest list of your weak areas. Is it your grammar, your speed, maybe idea generation? Once you have this solid data, then you're ready to choose your path. So, depending on your time frame, you're going to fall into one of 3 buckets. If your exam is creeping up in 25 to 35 days and you already have a pretty good English base, you belong on the 30-day intensive plan. If you have a bit more breathing room, say 45 to 70 days, the 60-day balanced plan is totally perfect. But if you know you have a weaker foundation or your exam is 75 to 100 days out, you're going to want the 90-day complete mastery plan. One quick note though, if you are aiming for an elite band 7.5 or an 8+, giving yourself 60 or 90 days is always the safer bet. Figure out where you stand right now, and let's explore your specific blueprint. All right, Section 3, the 30-day intensive plan. Think of this as the fast-track sprint. I'm going to be super transparent with you here. This sprint requires about 3 to 4 hours of strict daily discipline. It is built for strategy-focused learners who already have a decent grasp of English. Week 1 is intense. It's all about foundation and diagnostic correction. You aren't just taking tests, you are actually building a personal error notebook to figure out exactly why you missed what you missed. Then, Week 2 pivots entirely to listening and reading accuracy. This is where you enforce strict 20-minute passage limits and aggressively learn keyword matching. In these first 2 weeks, analyzing your mistakes is way more important than just counting up your right answers.
So what does that actually look like on a daily basis? Here is your minute-by-minute breakdown. You're doing 45 minutes of listening practice plus deep answer analysis. Another 45 minutes for a reading passage under timed conditions. Then, a full 60 minutes dedicated purely to writing task 1 or 2. Add 30 minutes for recording your speaking and reviewing it yourself. And finally, a quick 20 minutes revising that crucial error notebook. It's a lot, I know, but this is what 3 to 4 hours of highly focused, non-negotiable daily effort really looks like.
Let's move to Section 4, the 60-day balanced plan, which is the practical approach.
For most students out there, especially those targeting a solid band 6.5 to 7.5, this is the sweet spot. It requires a much more manageable 2 to 3 hours a day. See how beautifully this builds over 2 months? Weeks 1 and 2 are for building your base, things like grammar and topic vocab. Weeks 3 and 4 shift right into skill development, so you're practicing different listening accents and mastering those essay structures. Weeks 5 and 6 are when we introduce strict exam strategy and timed limits. And wrapping it up, weeks 7 and 8 are purely mock tests and repairing those lingering weak areas. It is a really steady, completely stress-free climb.
And finally, Section 5, the 90-Day Mastery Plan. This one is all about deep improvement and high bands.
If you were just starting out, or you're a super busy working professional, or honestly, if you're chasing that elite band 8+, this is absolutely your timeline. It only asks for about 1.5 to 2.5 hours a day. The month-by-month evolution here is incredible to see. Month 1, you get a significantly stronger English foundation and a really clear understanding of the test. Month 2 is where module-wise confidence blooms, giving you rock-solid strategies. And month 3 brings the whole shebang together. Pure exam readiness, the stamina to sit through those grueling full mock tests, and finalizing your score optimization.
Now, check this out. Regardless of which plan you go with, you have to divide your time properly across the 4 modules. Notice how writing takes up the biggest chunk at 35% and speaking is right behind it at 25%. Why is that? Well, because they're productive skills. They demand actual structure, active feedback, and tons of refinement. Listening and reading, they sit at 20% each, and they'll naturally improve with regular practice. But writing and speaking, they require you to actively construct language from scratch, and that just takes more dedicated time.
All right, home stretch. Section 6, Rules for IELTS Success. Let's look at your smart study system. No matter which of the 3 timelines you commit to, you absolutely need a weekly progress tracker. Every single week, you track what you're focusing on, but most importantly, you write down your specific weak area and the action plan to fix it. This kind of methodical tracking, it is exactly what separates the students who stay forever stuck at Band 6 from the ones who breeze right into Band 7.5. Okay, let's talk about the absolute do-nots of IELTS prep. These are the myths that ruin scores, so definitely pay attention here. First, do not practice without checking your mistakes. The analysis is where you actually improve. Second, do not memorize essays. Trust me, examiners spot memorized essays faster than a typo in a text message. Third, don't force complex vocabulary if you can't use it naturally in a sentence. Fourth, do not ignore spelling. A misspelled word on listening or reading is just a wrong answer. Fifth, please don't think speaking fast makes you fluent. It's natural flow and clarity that win high marks. And finally, do not compare your timeline to anyone else's. Your baseline is totally unique to you. All right, here is your final 7-day countdown. On day 7, do one last full mock test and deep error analysis. Days 6 to 4, you are purely revising weak areas, looking at traps, and reviewing writing task 1 formats. Days 3 and 2 focus on speaking recordings and just brushing up on essay structures. And day 1 is for light revision, checking your documents, getting sleep, and absolutely zero panic learning. Cramming the day before the test is only going to hurt your performance. So I want to leave you with a quick challenge. You've seen the blueprints. You know exactly why random studying fails. So which timeline are you going to commit to today? And what is going to be your non-negotiable daily habit? Because honestly, awareness without action is just wasted potential. Choose your plan, build that routine, and let's go get you that target band score. Thanks for hanging out with me in this explainer, and happy studying.